So getting ready for Ole Miss, they got four guys in Murray and Morrell and Flanagan and Brakefield that are all four, kind of on the top of their games. Three of the four are seniors, and just older players, guys been around the league a long, long time. And you could make an argument that, at their respective positions, they're going to be thought about as one of the better players in the league at their position. Murray, right now, he's making 40. He's made 43s at 45% from three. By comparison, Aiden's made 38 at 35%. We all know what a great shooter Aiden is, right? And of course, he was a point guard for St. Peter's, when they beat Kentucky. Matthew Morrell's always been one of the best two guards in our league, and he's having his best year. Allen, particularly the way he played in the conference season a year ago. If you look at Al's numbers last year in conference, he played his best basketball at the end of his senior year last year, and he's playing great basketball again this year. And then Brakefield, he was a guy that we recruited before he went to Duke. He came here on an official visit and chose actually Duke over Auburn, and then he transferred to Ole Miss and is having the best year of his career. Ole Miss has got 8 high major transfers. They got a couple guys eligible due to the 2-time transfer rule, Murray and then Cisse. So this is a really talented roster, and Coach Beard has done a great job in his first year in the league, as they've only lost 2 games on the road at LSU and at Tennessee. So it'll be I think it's obviously what Coach Beard and what I have worked towards, and that is to try to have an Ole Miss Auburn game, 2 ranked opponents, which has never happened, if I'm right. That's crazy, right? It's never happened, and that's what we've worked. That's what we both have worked really hard to try to achieve.
I guess to start out looking at Allen and Wes coming here for the first time, I guess how, as you look at that, kind of how are you feeling about just kind of that?
Well, the biggest thing I've said, and it's really the only thing I've said about it, is just that I hope that our students remember that those guys both graduated from Auburn. They're both Auburn men, and take that into consideration, because I'd rather have them treated as Auburn men and opponents than any animosity about the transfer.
Bruce, I know you mentioned it on Tiger Talk a little bit yesterday, but Janai, is he looking like he's going to be good to go tomorrow?
Yep, Janai will be good to go. And I think this will be one of the more athletic teams. In addition to those 4 guys, then they got 2 7-footers and 7-foot plus, and lead they're one of the leading shot blocking teams in the country. I think they're number 3 in the country in block shots. So, their rim protection is obviously elite.
Bruce, you've talked about Denver here recently with his defense. I know that was something that he was working on early in this season, in the preseason. Just what have you seen him, like what makes him such a good defender, and how he's been able to do this?
I just think what I want people to give him credit for is that he was a leading scorer in Conference USA. He wasn't just the leading scorer on his team. And Conference USA just wasn't any other conference. That was where Florida Atlantic lives. And they got to the Final Four. They had some pretty good players. UAB also, right? North Texas. I mean, it was. I think I'm right. Am I right about all that? I think so. Man. And he led league in scoring. And he gets in a transfer portal to try to go to the high major level. And is asked, to be a real important piece on a really good deep roster, where now you're going to be playing 20 minutes a game or so, maybe 20 to 24, whatever, versus 32, 34 minutes a game and shooting it every time and every play call designed for you. But the one area that Denver definitely needed to improve on was his defense. He had to rest a little bit on the defensive end to be able to have enough energy to score to give them a chance to win every night. Where now he can't we're not having him take possessions off. He's not taking possession off. He's sitting down and guarding point guards and some of the best guards in the country every night. And he is doing well. It's just simple, his effort. It's his focus. It's his toughness. It's his desire. It's his willingness. And he's going to get beat some because the quality, the speed, the brilliance of some of the players that he's playing at this level. But he's guarding players at this level now better than he guarded anybody last year at a lower level. And it's just it's to the credit of the young man just to say, hey, this is what I need to do for us to be good. And again, against Ole Miss, really, Breakfield's a big guard. Al can play in and out. Very, very versatile. Our guards will be challenged.
Yeah, you mentioned their shot blocking between Sharp and Cisse. I guess how do you see them? How do they differ in terms of defenders? And I guess what do they do well on the inside? Those two guys.
Sharp's a 7'6", 7'5". I mean, he's the tallest player in Division I. So and he's long and got great timing, and that affects going to the rim against him. And Cisse's 7 foot, and played at Memphis, Oklahoma State, now Ole Miss.
I guess going off of what I was asking earlier with Denver, your backcourt in general, like in the Vanderbilt game, didn't have a ton of scoring production, but really locked in on defense the whole way. What's that say about that crew that, no matter what they're doing on offense, they're really, really continue to work hard on defense?
Well, I think it says a lot about their character. I think it says a lot about their unselfishness. It says a lot about their willingness to sacrifice for the team. The difference between Vanderbilt and Ole Miss is, Ole Miss is bigger and stronger. They've got the shot blockers, and they've got four guys, whereas I think Vanderbilt probably had 2 elite guards in Ty Lawrence and Mannion. So, Ole Miss is one of the best teams in our league. Again, they've won every game they've played other than at Tennessee and at LSU.
Yeah, I guess just we talked about Al. What have you kind of seen in his game? I know he's taking on kind of a leading role for them that maybe differs from when he was here with you guys.
Was getting a lot more shots. And there've been obviously some rule changes too now. Secondary, Al had no problem ever beating his primary defender. It was always that secondary defender that would come over and take charges that you can't stay in front of Al.